audience. Please welcome Ryan.
So when I created my first narrative project called Bleed, when I first created my narrative project called Bleed, I actually had ideas for what sets I wanted to use, what locations I wanted to use, what camera shots I had, but I never really had an idea of what story I wanted to use. I kind of just went with a really mediocre idea, and I said, hey, let's just get into it, let's do our camera work, and let's have fun with this. And I learned that that's really not the way to do it. So, for my exploration project, I really wanted to actually learn how to create a compelling story for the audience. I wanted to be able to learn how to use metaphors in my story, how to create a good story in terms of design, how to engage the audience, and especially how to just interest the audience in general. So, I needed to start my research. What I needed to research was essentially what genres of film were essentially popular with the public. So I created an infographic. Here, this shows essentially that drama, things like comedy, thrillers, and romance are really great for drawing an audience. I also wanted to learn more about how to use symbolism and metaphors in my films. So, I researched about iceberg storytelling. This is essentially the idea where on the surface, a story shows kind of like a regular story, and then on the inside, we have a very deeper meaning of the story. So, I essentially got to work. What I needed to do was create a couple of different ideas and basically compile them into my own story. I also learned that I'm relatively decent at camera work, maybe, but I basically said, hey, let's screw it to all camera work and let's focus completely on my story. So I did something called found footage. It's essentially a subgenre where the main character wielded the camera for the whole duration of the film. I use this because it essentially creates more of a sense of realism for the audience. So, when I was creating my story, essentially what I did was I created 3 different mundane kind of stories. And I said, hey, let's create an exercise where I basically put all these 3 stories together and see what comes out. So, I put them all together, and I essentially created a story idea where 2 urban explorers are essentially exploring an abandoned school. Here, they get attacked by homeless people. And essentially, these 2 explorers try to escape, and one of them is killed, the other one tries to escape, and he essentially imagines his escape. And essentially, the ending shows that he never escaped at all. So, I got to work with my production phase. Essentially, what we did was we went to San Francisco and we found a set, and here is some of the production shots that I had. As you can see, this is what I wanted to use for my set. So what my film accomplished was essentially the idea of compelling, or creating a more compelling story for my audience. So, I had accomplished the idea of using metaphors in my film and creating a more popular film product. So, what I used for my film story was the idea of camera static in a metaphor. So, I put camera static into the film as a representation of a connection to reality. What camera static to me represents is connection and basically, I guess, connection. So, what I wanted to do, this essentially kind of accomplished my film product, and I basically, I have my film actually here. The video is actually 9 minutes long, so I'll just show like a 1 minute portion of it.
Yeah, I think someone lives here. Hold on. Someone lives here. What the hell? Yeah.
Hey, it's good, it's good. See, look.
No, dude. I don't know what the hell that was.
Hey.
Come back, dude.
See, it's not scary. It's not scary.
Come on, dude.
It's not scary, it's fine. Dude. Whoa. Is this
I'm telling you this thing.
Wait, do you hear that? Do you hear that?
Hey. Oh, hey. Okay. Hey, no, we're not. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
Hopefully that encourages you guys to watch the rest. I want to say thank you to Ethan and Turlock for helping me with this film and going out of their way for 13 hours in San Francisco. And yeah, thanks.
It's not scary. Comments, questions?
Ethan.
Who ends up dying?
You do.
He said, don't worry, it's not scary.
Tell him about the asbestos.
Not scary.
Not scary. Yeah.
If we wanted to see the rest of this, where could we find it?
Website?
It's on YouTube, but I don't really know how you guys can get to it.
Website?
Should we look up Freestyle Academy?
Yeah.
You should probably tell them how we got into the location.
Oh,
That's best.
trespassing?
Okay, so basically what was happening around the area was there was a concert literally a block away, and there were like 100, 200 people just running around the island, and there were police cars rolling around, and we had to get into an area that was no trespassing, and that's trespassing.
Ryan, this is recorded.
We all kind of took turns climbing over a 10-foot fence. In the beginning, you can see us climbing the fence, but it's only me and Ethan. Yeah.
Gotta get the shot.
Gotta get shot.
All right, thank you, Ryan.